Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for coming back for yet another video. I appreciate you joining. I have 3 Echo string trimmers that I got, I think it was like last year. The Trio was only like 15 bucks. There's a couple reasons why I'm making this video for you today. Number 1, I wanted to keep up with my upload schedule. And number 2, I selfishly have some like cattails in our backyard that I have been meaning to cut down for a while. And one of the attachments that came on one of these trimmers was like a cutoff blade. I don't know what the technical term is, but that is what we are trying to restore, and I want to try to use that to chop it down. So without further ado, thank you so much for joining, and let's see if it comes back. Okay, so I'm just gonna safely assume that this just has some old fuel in the carb. You know, it's never good to jump to conclusions, so it's NGK, that's cool. Spark plug looks great. All right, let's try that spark checker tool. Okay. Let's get some lights off. It's like 15 lights in here. Okay, here we go. So I don't know if that is showing up, but it has the spark right there. Very still. Hopefully that came up. But we got it. Okay, so hopefully it'll fire. It feels like it's got compression. See those, like those two right there? It came with those two as a pair, or as a trio rather. Okay, some fuel down there. Get everybody's legs and fingers out of the way. We'll do what? Looks like we're missing a wing nut possibly. Okay, so that is, we'll just do no choke. I'm not gonna pull on the throttle. Let's just see what happens. Maybe try the throttle? Whoop. Cool. Pull that carb off and we'll see what's going on. We'll have to find a wing nut for that. All right, let's start taking that carburetor off. I can't find my normal size screwdriver, so I got to use this weird one for now. I think that was what was holding it to, yeah. Gas actually doesn't look too bad on it. I think I might have some fuel lines, so if that's the case, we'll cross that bridge. Probably should just replace them anyways. You know, if we replace them now, they probably don't need to be replaced. If we don't replace them, they'll need to be replaced. You know how it goes. The primer bulb feels a little bit weak. Oh, that gasket looks incredible. This carb actually does not look bad at all. Looks really good. So these fuel pump diaphragms can just become really stiff, and that way, and you'll hear it too. Like it'll go kind of like a Snapple. You know, when you open a Snapple, it wants to pop. It doesn't make that same noise, but it kind of has that same kind of vibe. It's just very it's very snappy and poppy. But that actually, it's like brand new almost. This whole thing really. There's a needle. Here, let me zoom in. There's a needle which is right there. It's that post, and there's a spring that pushes that up. So when that fuel diaphragm pumps, that's what allows that needle I think the technical term is to meter the fuel. It meters in, you know, whatever amount of fuel in through the carburetor, which then goes into the engine. So that, you know, the RPMs of the engine or whatever is combusting in there is what makes that diaphragm either, you know, changes the demand for diaphragm, whatever it requires. It'll start to, the needle will follow. Sorry, I'm kind of fumbling with my words. You can take this whole thing out. There's that little screw right there. Sorry, this probably hasn't been in focus this whole time. That little screw right there, you take that out. And then this little fork arm is what holds that needle in. And then there's a pin that goes across, and that all can come out. It's not very complex. Just make sure that spring in there. Just make sure you have it over like a surface like this, and you can see if it drops. With that said, I'm not taking that out just because it looks really good. I'm just gonna clean out the main ports and just put it back together. I'll probably just drain that fuel tank and then just see if it fires. The fuel tank is actually empty. Holy cow, this thing. I did not know this was in as good of a condition as it is. Yeah, like some ridges. That's not doing too hot. I think I might have an extra. All right, so I have this old one from, it says for Walbro, Fitz, Echo, Steel, Homelight, and others. I think that's smaller than we need. So I went ripping one of the other carbs off to rob one of those because it appears to be kind of a similar looking piece. And it's not a similar piece. It's a very different piece, but this is a Walbro and I like Walbro. So I'm thinking maybe this is going to be like our eventual winner, but this carb looks fantastic, which, you know, who knows? Maybe this is an aftermarket, one of those Chinese carbs. I actually don't know. Zama might be a name brand. So anyways, this whole assembly too, it kind of like clips into here and there's a much better air filter. This air filter is crappy and we need a wing nut. So I might just have to take this Walbro carb apart and just kind of push that one off to the side and we'll use this one instead. Let's take this Walbro apart. Sounds a lot better than, you know, that broken, whatever that is. Gosh, both of those look fantastic. It says Japan. Walbro is Japan. Anything you know, this is just my 2 cents. Safe assumption to see if you see anything that's made in Japan, you're going to know that it's pretty decent quality. That's just my 2 cents. Let's get this back onto there. If you focus your attention on that little black thing right there, when you pull the choke, that covers and AKA chokes it, and then that's no choke. Let me get this back on there. We'll get some fuel in there. This is my last little bit. Well, it's priming. A couple primes, choke. I'm not sure how much of that I edited out, but you were on the opposite side. I don't think you could see this grommet. I think that's a grommet. That was spewing gas like crazy. So that seal must be bad. I know these pieces of rubber just kind of have a tendency to wear out over time. This 3-hole grommet, I don't necessarily know what that is, but it looks very specific. It does look fairly corroded. I got to imagine Home Depot carries something like that. I know Home Depot is an Echo person. Home Depot is actually open right now. It's almost 9 o'clock on a Friday night. It's 9 o'clock on a Friday. I got to imagine that Home Depot has this or something like it. All right, guys, back from the home center. I got some 2-cycle, the engineer stuff. I really like the stuff that comes already pre-mixed and pre-made. It's such a small amount that I use, relatively speaking. If I was a landscape guy or whatever, obviously this stuff does not make sense because it's like 20 bucks a gallon, I think is what it comes out to. The home center, I love this old house. They always call it in their Boston accent, the home center. I wasn't anticipating them having that exact little grommet piece, but they did have it in a kit. So I know we talked about the fuel lines anyways. Came with a fuel filter. I think this thing was like 12 bucks. Came with a primer bulb too. So there's that grommet. Careful. Careful. I'm going to use some channel locks very delicately. Okay, channel locks for the win. All right, guys, back down on the ground. Let's get the garage door opened up, and I want to just adjust that carburetor, make sure that it is, just make sure that it's in line. Much different than it was before. Well done, Echo. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for joining. If I do the math in my head, we got 3 trimmers for 15 bucks. So if my math serves me correctly, that is, let's just say $5 per trimmer, plus this $15 part that we got from Home Depot. So 20 bucks into this for the whole thing. You know, good deal. It's probably worth anywhere between 50 and 100, give or take, low, high. Glad I was able to get this video out. I had a massive sun up to sundown day yesterday of excavating a major project for our backyard. It is just me, and I had a skid steer, so it was like one of those 6 or 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. days straight. So needless to say, I'm exhausted today, but glad we were able to get the video out. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you liked the video, hit that thumbs up button. Hopefully I've earned your subscription. I know the video wasn't that great, but I needed this thing. So thanks for coming along the journey. But thanks for coming along on the journey with me. All right, I'm out.